When people think about the time machine, they usually picture dazzling visuals, a spinning brass contraption, and terrifying Morlocks beneath the earth. What's rarely talked about is how close this film came to never existing at all, and how the ending audiences saw was not the ending originally intended.
Casual old man. Were you addressing me, sir? Philby, it's George. Well, I must say I expected a little more enthusiastic a greeting. I think you're confusing me with my father, sir.
This film was a long-term passion project for producer and director George Pal. He first obtained the rights to The Time Machine by H.G. Wells in 1945. For the next 15 years, Pal faced rejection after rejection. Studios believed Victorian science fiction was outdated and unappealing to modern audiences. Despite this, Pal refused to walk away. He had loved the novel since childhood and believed its ideas were timeless. When MGM finally agreed to produce the film in 1959, it came with harsh budget restrictions. Pal accepted anyway, knowing it might be his only opportunity to bring the story to the screen. Casting the lead role proved just as difficult. MGM initially wanted a well-known star, but several established actors declined, dismissing science fiction as childish and career-damaging. Pal instead championed Rod Taylor, a relatively unknown Australian actor. Studio executives hesitated, but Pal argued that Taylor's grounded, everyman presence would make the story more believable. The gamble paid off, and Taylor's performance became central to the film's success. Budget limitations forced extraordinary creativity, especially with the time machine itself. Rather than being built from expensive custom materials, the iconic prop was assembled from salvaged junkyard parts. Brass fittings, antique instruments, chandelier crystals, and discarded industrial components were repurposed into one of the most recognizable machines in film history. What looked lavish on screen was actually born out of necessity and ingenuity. Filming, however, was far from safe. The underground Morlock scenes were shot on enclosed sound stages filled with smoke and dry ice to create atmosphere. Poor ventilation caused a dangerous buildup of toxic gases. Rod Taylor was hospitalized with carbon monoxide poisoning, and production was temporarily shut down while safety conditions were reassessed. Filming resumed only after additional ventilation was installed. The Morlock performers faced their own hardships, wearing heavy latex suits under intense studio lighting. Many suffered heat exhaustion, allergic reactions, and extreme discomfort, yet received no screen credit for their work. The film's most breathtaking moments, the time-lapse sequences showing centuries passing in seconds, required months of painstaking labor. Special effects artist Gene Warren and his team photographed individual frames one at a time, manually adjusting sets between each exposure. Department store mannequins changing fashions, flowers blooming instantly, and the sky racing through time were all achieved through meticulous frame-by-frame photography. These sequences alone consumed a significant portion of the production schedule. Some elements of the film were quietly controversial. Actress Ayat Mimu, who played Weena, was only 16 years old during filming, while Rod Taylor was nearly twice her age. Strict child labor laws shaped her schedule, and scenes were carefully staged to avoid physical intimacy. The studio deliberately obscured her age in promotional materials, fearing audience backlash. George Pal later admitted discomfort with the situation, but defended it by emphasizing the character's innocence. Not all criticism came from audiences. H.G. Wells' son publicly condemned the film, arguing that it stripped away his father's socialist critique. In the original novel, the Eloi and Morlocks represented the long-term consequences of class division. The film shifted that message, focusing instead on Cold War fears, particularly nuclear annihilation. The apocalyptic future sequence used real atomic test footage obtained from the U.S. corrupt government, lending the destruction an unsettling realism that disturbed many viewers. Despite its challenges, the film won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. However, controversy followed when Gene Warren accepted the Oscar, even though George Pal had personally designed and executed much of the effects work. Academy rules at the time prevented Pal, as producer-director, from receiving official credit. The rules were later changed, but too late for Pal to be recognized for his contribution. One of the film's most memorable sequences, the department store mannequins changing fashion through decades, nearly didn't make it into the final cut. Executives wanted it removed to save money, citing the cost of period costumes. Pal fought to keep it, arguing that it visually communicated the passage of time better than dialogue ever could. The sequence survived, filmed under intense time pressure, and became a standout moment. Now comes the part most viewers never hear about, the ending. George Pal originally filmed a much clearer conclusion. In this version, the time traveler returns to his own era one final time before heading back to the future for good. He deliberately selects 3 books, a medical textbook, an engineering manual, and a history book, and explains that he intends to help the Eloi rebuild civilization. This ending removed all ambiguity and made his mission unmistakable. Test audiences actually responded positively to this version, but MGM ultimately chose a different ending. The studio believed a mysterious conclusion would generate more discussion and linger longer in viewers' minds. Instead of confirming the time traveler's fate, the released ending leaves audiences wondering which books he took and whether he ever returned. The Time Machine could have been a glossy, big-budget spectacle with major stars and lavish resources. Instead, it became a classic built from salvaged materials, creative problem-solving, and relentless determination. Its political message was softened, its original ending was replaced, and its production pushed cast and crew to their limits. Yet despite all of this, the film endured. Some journeys succeed, not because the conditions are perfect, but because someone refuses to stop moving forward.